Hello and welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, I'm Sheen, your host, and today it's a little bit of a different vibe. First of all, this episode is brought to you by Pepperstone, and we are in the Aston Martin F1 Team base camp in Silverstone in the UK. Aston Martin Aramco has recently joined hands with Pepperstone, which is an online trading platform, as their official forex and trading partner. This partnership makes so much sense because both parties are completely dedicated to betterment and to pushing boundaries when it comes to precision, speed, and strategy, both on the tracks and in the market. This partnership embodies the pursuit of excellence and making bold moves. Our guest today is Jessica Hawkins, who is a trailblazer in motorsports and who will be telling us a little bit more about the synergy of this incredible collaboration. Hello, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you. I love the place. It's my
Beautiful,
first time.
isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
It's quite fancy.
Does the magic wear away over time?
No.
It doesn't?
No. I don't live very far from here either, and no, it's still not worn off. I think it will always be special.
What's your most favorite part about this base camp?
Oh, most favourite? Probably the simulator.
Really?
Yeah, from a driver's point of view, maybe. Reception is obviously grand. The trophies, probably my second favourite. My helmet on display, third favourite maybe.
So this is your helmet, right?
It is, yeah. So this is my 2024 helmet. I haven't received my 25 helmet yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping it comes on Friday. So
oh,
yeah, that's always the best day of the year. Always, new helmet day is always the best day.
It's like Christmas.
It is, yeah. And Christmas always comes a little bit late because it's normally the beginning of the year that you get it. So, but yeah, as a driver, I think new helmet day, especially if the design's changed quite a bit. Maybe not so much if the design stayed the same, but I've gone for a bit of an updated one this season. So, yeah, I'm excited for it to arrive.
Okay, question for you. When you look at this, what is the first memory that comes?
When I used it first in Riyadh at the beginning of 24, for a street demo that we did with Aramco when I was doing some donuts and things in the street. Yeah, pretty fun memories.
How was that?
So good, so good.
What were the feelings before and after? How did they differ?
I didn't realise that the impact that we were having on what we do and the cool things that we do, how impactful it could be to those around us, until after I saw everybody's reaction. Which was really, really heartwarming. To me, I guess I love driving, whether that be racing or donuts or being a bit of a hooligan, controlled hooliganism with stunts.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's only when I saw the young female so emotional about the fact a female was driving did it really hit me how impactful what we do is. So yeah. I went into it thinking this is so cool, came out of it thinking, wow, we've really have made history here. And
this wasn't the only time you made history, right? You were also the first woman in 5 years to test an F1 car?
Yeah.
Right? How was that?
Amazing. I still don't have the words to describe it, to be honest. It's something that I will never, ever forget. I think as any young, aspiring racing driver grows up, they believe at some point, especially in their younger career, that they will be a Formula One driver. And it's only, I think, when you get a little bit older, do you realise all the things that need to fall into place for that to happen. So for me to, sign my first contract with Formula One team, Aston Martin Aramco Formula One team, 5 years ago now, I've been here, this grand time, was really special. Especially as, as I got older, you realise that your chances of making it get smaller and smaller. So yeah, incredible, great to be here. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And now I'm in my 5th year, as I said, and it's my role since being here has grown so much, which is a key point as well. And I love it here very much. But yeah, driving the Formula One car, I've gone off on a tangent there.
It's okay.
But yeah, driving the Formula One car was simply the best day of my life, and there's no other way to describe it. And the car was incredible. I don't really know where my expectations were, to be honest. But they fully exceeded it in every dimension possible. So yeah, it was incredible. The car was I just can't believe it's scientifically possible. Amazing.
Oh, wow. Okay. And I guess you said your role evolved while being here, and now you're the head of the F1 Academy.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what the F1 Academy is?
Yeah, so the Formula One Academy is a all-female series. Each 10 Formula One teams have a driver in it. There are also some sponsored cars as well. I think the number of those is growing. It's a growing number. And it's really a championship aimed at giving these young females equal opportunities in motorsport. Not only is it giving the current drivers an opportunity, it's also creating a huge platform for the younger generation to look up to and aspire to. In my opinion, if a young girl was to turn on Formula One on the television, would she even, and see 20 men racing around, would she even know that she was allowed to do that? The thought may not even cross her mind that she would be allowed to do that. So it's really giving visibility to the younger generation, not only the current generation of F1 Academy drivers.
So do you think that will lead to a bit more women competing in the motorsport industry?
Without question. Without question. If I look back, even before Formula One Academy, if I look back from when I first started racing, I could probably count on one hand the amount of women that I knew that were in motorsport. Now, there are way more so than I even know about, which is fantastic, but I do still know that the ratio is not quite where it needs to be. We still need to keep moving forward. We still need to keep driving change, along with our partners at ARM, especially one of our partners. We're really working closely towards shaping the future and inspiring the younger generation of young females to get involved. So, yeah, it's changed hugely since when I first started, but we're not quite where we need to be yet with it.
Of course, it's a journey, right?
Of course, yeah.
But at the same time, who are some of the women who you think are unsung heroes of F1?
There are lots of obviously females in marketing that you perhaps, and commercial and other areas of a Formula One team that aren't so visible, that, you know, the business wouldn't run without them. So there's some sat to my left. That perhaps aren't shown on camera, but they're as important to the team as what anybody is. They're just less visible, I think.
Yeah.
There's also the generation before me. They played their role in helping the younger generation, and I was once a younger generation, and I'm now feel somewhat responsible for helping the generation below me. So I think everyone collectively has the same vision and is doing their own bit. And there are lots of roles within Formula One that perhaps are less visible, but they're all as important as each other.
And for you growing up, what made you so attracted to this as a career?
Yeah, I was always a really sporty kid, never particularly academic, but I did excel at sports, and it was just something that I saw in the distance one day and begged my dad to let me have a go. I didn't even really know what motorsport was before it, to be honest. I remember my dad sometimes having Formula One on, but I didn't really know what it was, to be honest, and it was only when I saw it in the distance it really intrigued me. My dad was really against the idea at first, I think, but it must have stuck in my mind because I kept on at him and wouldn't take no for an answer once I was tall enough, that is.
Who was your role model back then? Would you say there was someone?
Yeah, I think definitely Susie Wolf, who was Susie Stoddard at the time, Danica Patrick as well. I do remember them two being, you know, the figureheads leading back then. So to put it into perspective, I'm sure there were more, but they were the two prominent ones that I knew about. And now there are so many more women for the younger generation to look up to.
Now I want to explore a little bit more about your actual experience of being a driver, right? So as you said, you've done stunt driving, you've also test-driven F1 car, you've driven an F1 single-seater and also a NASCAR. First of all, can you explain to me what's the difference between a NASCAR and an F1 single-seater?
Oh my God, they couldn't.
In basic terms.
They've both got 4 wheels.
Right.
And they've both got a steering wheel.
That's it.
NASCAR is more, it's less refined. It's more V8, big engine. Obviously the Formula One car has got more power than the NASCAR, but the NASCAR is big V8 engine, not quite as refined.
So which one was more challenging for you?
The F1 car.
Yeah?
For sure, yeah. The NASCAR took a little bit of adjustment because I completely new to me. The Formula One car obviously is something that I felt ready for, and it wasn't less of it. I was more, because I'd prepared so well on the sim, the simulator had gone really well. I've come up through the junior ranks. The F1 car, as much as it was absolutely incredible, and nothing could have prepared me 100% for it. It felt like home, the Formula One car. It really did. And after even just a lap or two, I felt really at home and comfortable in the car. But yeah, very different experiences, and it's really quite tough to explain how different they are.
Okay. And I'm guessing when you're driving, a lot of times you have to make split-second, high-impact decisions.
Yeah.
How does that go? How do you approach that decision-making process?
Sometimes there's no you don't think, it's instinct takes over, and sometimes there is no time to think. You know, if there are so many motorsport, there are so many different variables in motorsport, whether that be from the organisation of it, or to the running of it, or to when the car's on track. There are so many different variables, probably more so than most other sports than what I can imagine. A lot of it is done not actually, you know, we can't take credit for half of it because it's our subconscious that do it for us, because there is no time to really think about what's going on. It's quite a reaction sport. And if there's been a crash ahead of you or something's happened, you have to be able to react and be adaptable. I think that's probably one of the most important things as a high-level racing driver. Some things are obviously is a decision that perhaps you and your engineer can make together, which normally, in most circumstances, there's more time than just a split second to make that decision. And often in the race car, we have less information than what they have on the pit wall, depending on what you're racing. But in Formula One, they have so much information on the pit wall. The driver doesn't have an overview of everything that the pit wall has, so perhaps we'll be able to make a better decision than what the driver. But in other instances, the driver will be able to make a better decision because they know the circuit better. They know where the circuit's at on slicks, wets, or whatever that decision may be. So I guess you have to be very, very adaptable in Formula One and be able to adapt to situations and almost make uninformed decisions very well.
But it's like an educated guess, right? As you say, even your subconscious has been training.
Yeah, I mean, they're two very different things. If it's a setup change or a tyre change, that's not, it can be a split-second decision if all of a sudden it rains or something, but normally that's not a split-second decision. Whereas if you're avoiding a crash that is a split-second decision, and often there is no time to think, you just do. So they're very different scenarios.
Of course. And we've talked a lot about the highs of when things happen, trying new things. But in general, there are also setbacks, I'm sure. There are things that don't work. How do you approach those things? And this is generally just advice for everyone. How do you approach setbacks?
This is probably my one biggest bit of advice to young girls, or not just young girls, but to young aspiring racing drivers, is that there are setbacks, whether that's in motorsport or work life or personal life. There are periods of time where you're high, and there are periods of time where you're low, if maybe something's not going to plan. One thing I stand by is a big reason that I'm still, in this world that I love so much, this motorsport world that I love so much, is because every time I've been knocked down, sometimes it may have taken me a little bit more time to get up, but I've always stood back up. And anything worth having, I don't think comes easily. And it's all about how you come back from those setbacks. And sometimes it's okay to take a little bit of time to kind of reset yourself, dust yourself down and go again. But what's most important is that you do stand back up. And standing back up is probably one of the most difficult bits of it. But once you're back up and you can, get going again. But persistence is key.
And while we're on the topic of advice to younger girls who want to become drivers, what are practical advice you would give them? Let's say someone who's still in school, who is interested in it. What advice do you have for them?
As a young driver, you need to be resilient. Going back to our previous point about standing back up, motorsport is 80% disappointment, but the 20% makes up for that 80. So be prepared to have setbacks. Be adaptable. You obviously have to be very strong. If you're unsure if you're fit enough, you're probably not. You need to be very mentally strong as well. You have to be, it takes a mental toll on you as well. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And just keep trying. That's my biggest bit of advice is just keep trying. Don't take no for an answer. Or you're going to have to take no for an answer at some point, but just keep trying. Keep knocking on the doors. And one door perhaps might not open. You might be very disappointed about it, but I believe that everything happens for a reason, and that door closed because it means that it wasn't meant for you and there was actually a better fit for you just around the corner, even if it doesn't immediately show itself.
I like that. Things always fall into place. And I like what you said about, you can take no from other people, but don't be the first one to be saying no to yourself. Yeah. So that's really nice. So we've been talking about Pepperstone joining the family now. So if they were to design a trading strategy based on your driving skills, what do you think it would be? It would be a risk taker or like aggressive risk taker, or would it be like a calm, composed strategist, or would it be a bit of a mix of both?
I think it's got to be a mix of both.
Yeah.
In certain situations, there are lots of different situations that you drive in, there is with trading as well. There are lots of things to consider. But yeah, I think a bit of both. Maybe we can make a trading strategy to my driving.
I'm sure they'll be down to do that. So, I came from Dubai, and I can tell that in the Middle East, the motorsports industry is really booming right now.
Growing, right?
Right, especially in KSA, where you've been as well. Where do you see that going in the future?
I think it's going to grow and grow and grow, if I'm honest. I think this is just the beginning for Formula One. We've obviously seen a huge growth over the last few years due to many things. But yeah, Formula One is only going in one direction, isn't it? It's good for me because I like sharing my sport with other people and seeing all the new fans and everything. It's great. You said Formula One a few years ago, and lots of people didn't really know much about it. And it's not like that anymore. I think it's more people are becoming so interested in it. And I love motorsport, so I'd talk about it all day, every day, if I could, to everybody. So it's good for me. But yeah, I think we're seeing more of the fan base. There's the fan base is becoming more dominated by women, which is great. Women are showing far more interest. I think typically used to be a very male-dominated watch sport, and it's not like that anymore.
Have you been to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix?
I have, yeah.
Is
great
it
race.
Nice?
Great race.
Yeah?
Really great race, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you been?
No, this year I'm hoping to go.
Mean?
I know, every time I've been out of the country, this year's the plan to go.
Yeah, you have to go.
Yeah, I will try. But, okay, I want you to tell us a little story, something, to pull on the heartstrings. So what has been, obviously, there's so much more to come in your career, but so far, what has been, would you say, the highlight in terms of emotions?
There's so many highlights. I look back at my CV and I think, God, I forget about some of the stuff. And definitely the stunt driving is a highlight. Huge. There was a live show that I did called Fast and Furious Live. Absolute highlight. And driving the Formula One car, a definite highlight. I raced in a series called W Series. Absolute highlight. Amazing. Lots of championships that I've had under my belt. Highlight again. And yeah, it's as much as I am very passionate about helping the younger generation, I still haven't finished with my career yet, and there's still things that I want to achieve, and there's still things that I want to win, essentially, go on and drive. I've still got that fire in my belly to make that happen, and I still want to win races, still want to be competitive. I still want to drive, essentially. That's all I want to do. I just want to drive. If you were to describe that feeling when you're driving, how does that feel? I don't think you can. There's a. I don't know if I'm addicted to driving or addicted to the feeling that you get when you win from driving. I'm not sure. I've never worked it out, to be honest. But so what's that feeling like when you win? I think me as a person, my highs are highs and my lows are low, and it's like nothing else matters, really. Like, I think we chase feelings. What am I? And it's really the feelings that we get from, maybe it's not the actual driving. Maybe it's the feeling that we get from driving. Maybe that's the same thing, I don't know. But I just love it so much, and there's nothing really that compares to winning, really. even as a team, and it's very team sport, isn't it? And just the celebration after, it's addictive.
How long do you take to ride that wave of joy after winning something before you start thinking, what's next?
Well, it's been a while, to be honest, so I'll have to remember from the archive. But it depends, really. It very much depends. It depends how soon after is the next race, because, you know, you're only as good as your last race, to be honest. So celebrate. I don't necessarily mean like a wild celebration. I mean like reflect on the win and enjoy the feeling and enjoy the feeling with the team. But then you're very focused on the next race, because what's more important than celebrating from the last race is making sure you can win the next one as well, because you want that feeling again. So, you know, a championship is probably more sustainable happiness than what one race is, because the chances are you've got another race the following week, which you've got to try and win again, whereas a championship is probably more fulfilling long term.
And you said there's a lot that you still want to achieve. What's the next big goal for you?
I'd love to race at Le Mans. We've got some racing plans this year that haven't all come together just yet, but it's looking very hopeful. Racing in an Aston Martin, obviously. And yeah, Le Mans is the long-term goal, I guess. And I want to have fun along the way. I want to win some races along the way, and just go racing. Really, that's all I want to do. I want to go race. I want to go racing and win races.
Amazing. And do you think in your lifetime you'll see a female F1 driver?
Oh, without question.
Yeah?
Without question, yeah. Without question.
When do you see that happening? In what kind of time frame are we looking at?
That's such a difficult question. This is a rough guesstimate, and please don't hold me to it.
No.
But somewhere between 5 and 10.
Really? You think that soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe more towards the 10, but I'm okay with that. That's okay. We need to realise the progress that we've made before we can run too fast. But really, I don't think... And as much as said female, whoever that may be, because let's not fully rule me out yet, guys.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Me or someone else is what you should be saying.
Yeah.
Yeah?
As much as she will deserve every bit of success that she gets from that, I really don't think that we've achieved what we've set out to achieve until it's no longer a milestone that a female is racing in Formula One. So the picture is bigger than just one female racing in Formula One.
Absolutely.
I want it to be a regular thing. And I think that even when I test drove the Formula One car some time ago now, it made headlines. And whilst it was incredible, which it was incredible, great for me, great for the team, there was a small part of me that was thinking, it shouldn't be making this much headline. Like this should be normal.
It's too late for that.
Yeah. So, but look, as I said earlier, we've made huge progress, and we need to be proud of that. But the journey isn't over. The battle isn't over. So I keep pushing for that, and it's something I'm very passionate about. And it's easy to fight for something that you're passionate for, isn't it? So, yeah, I'll continue with that and have fun in the process.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait, and hopefully it's you. But another question I have is obviously whenever we're talking about speed, racing, driving, and all of that, there's a lot of risk-taking involved. Would you say you've always been a risk-taker?
Yeah, I think it comes with the dangerous territory of being a racing driver, I think.
The general consensus is that that's why women are technically more averse to risk, right? We don't really want to take risks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that because we don't feel comfortable taking risk?
I think biologically we're wired not to take risks because we look after families, we procreate. So that's why we have a less of a tendency to take risks.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah. But clearly you defied that.
Yeah, well, I don't have kids.
Not yet. Okay, any parting message for any young girls who are watching you and who are dreaming about becoming driver?
Just follow your dreams, and there's no substitute for hard work. You have to work very hard, and don't be afraid of setbacks. Setbacks will come and they will go. You just got to pick yourself back up and go again.
Well, thank you so much, Jessica. I learned so much about you and F1 and everything. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you on the racetrack again, hopefully in Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
Thank you very much. I'd love to do Dubai 24, actually.
Let's do it.